Hello, and welcome to another episode of Arms Ranked. We've only got 4 today, but I think that's okay. There weren't really a lot of people online during the party crash. But we've got me, Twin, or Twin50, Watch 3, and Jeeves. So let's start out with me, Twin, I don't know, just Twin50, I guess. Using usual Lollipop, but I'm presuming that he went with the Hydra because super armor. That was a good grab. If I had to guess, either he got a lucky guess or he noticed that I was like dashing backwards, which kind of indicated that I was a bit afraid of the being iced, which might suggest that I'm more likely to shield. I don't know, maybe I'm just overanalyzing this, but good ice, re-ice. I predicted that since he already got one re-ice, a good mix-up would be to make me like expect a grab to punch, but then just get re-iced again. So I kind of figured he'd go for that. Really putting on my thinking cap. Although I still lost this naturally. Couldn't get my shield up in time. I should have predicted that, even though I kind of expected it. I should have actually took action to avoid it. And then he just Hydras me for the first round. I switched to double mage just because like the Salamander doesn't really seem to be doing anything. It doesn't even seem to be setting anything good up. I am able to get this rush. He's not able to hobble out of it, luckily. And that was very strange. I don't like ever see 3 Hydras broken. And he gets the grab, slips right under my nade. Trying to be a bit more cautious here because I don't want to get like rushed. And that was a good grab. I don't think he's ever I don't think he's gone for any like just normal grabs. All of his grabs have been while I was frozen. And then I think that had he punched with the Ice Dragon a little earlier, that most likely would have worked out. And I was planning on like, oh, I'm gonna use my rush, but he goes ahead and shuts that idea down before I can even act on it. So GG's. Unfortunately, no rematch. Next opponent was Watch 3. They were using Bite and Bark. I think I've faced this player in the past. A few days, like the last time I faced him, my internet like straight up died, so I ended up losing a lot of rank due to that. I think the storm knocked it out, but that's one habit I noticed that they started doing sometime in their second game, was it seemed like they would go for a lot of jumping grabs, especially like they jump over Bark whenever they're like not their closest possible distance, but still fairly close. They jump over Bark, and then go for the grab. But I forgot what I was saying. Oh yeah. So I faced this player like once before, maybe 2 or 3 weeks before recording this, and my internet just died. But I think they were ranked 19 when I faced them a few weeks ago, and they were ranked 20 now. So good for them. Gonna get hit by Bark there, being a good boy, usual. And he's able to grab me, taking advantage of Bark basically acting as a distraction. And then I end up super armoring an explosion in 2 hits and still land a partial rush, which is very convenient. The Parabola is doing a lot of work, preventing me from hitting him before his whip arms reach me. And his whip arms are, hitting me. So that's something I was having trouble trying to figure out how to deal with. Bark's such a good boy. Such a good boy. Go ahead and counter rush. It works out pretty well. I'm kind of glad because he definitely had the aerial advantage, but I just had so many more hits than him, like just because it was a flurry rush, that I was able to take it anyway. He doesn't actually go for the grab that time, which is surprising. And trampoline's open, and I was thinking like, oh great, he seems to really like being in the air, and it's really doing work for him. So what I really needed was for him to be able to constantly be in an aerial state even when Bark is down, because this is ridiculous. Nades aren't exactly anti-air arms, and I go for the rush. I should have moved a little at least, or tried blocking, but I'm able to knock him off the trampoline, and he has rush now, so I've got to be careful. But yeah, he's back on the trampoline, but I'm able to blow him out of the rush. I missed hitting Bark though. I do think it's kind of funny whenever you knock Bark out on the trampoline. Look at that. It's hilarious. I don't even think he stopped passing. Yeah, there he goes again. It's really, but just by playing carefully and keeping him off the trampoline, I'm able to prevent him from getting too caught up with me, I guess. Unfortunately, the explosion actually works against me and knocks him down before I'm able to land a rush. But I still, his health is now on the magic pixel. I've got to watch out for a rush, but there we go, just finishing it off with an explosion. So, good game. Unfortunately, he didn't want a rematch, but I ended up running into him again anyway, so we'll get back to G's right after this. I just don't want them to be like split apart because they're the same person. I think I'm gonna make that the standard from now on, is that if while I'm planning on recording I end up running into the same person multiple times, I'll just do all of their matches at once instead of having them split apart, I guess. Anyway, he gets the grab, but I see the second one coming and just jump to avoid it. Jumping is very effective against grabs, I've noticed. Most of the time. Sometimes they'll just catch you while you're jumping. But anyway, I've got a very significant health lead and rush, so I've got to make sure not to lose the lead, and also not to let him make not to, I guess, get too confident. So I just stay back a bit. He manages to get my health down by another 250 or so. I switched to Hydra because I figured it just seemed like against this playstyle, the Hydra would be a lot more effective. I didn't have it equipped the last game, but that was probably for the best considering how well nades ended up working out. Surprisingly, I get a grab like that because usually Bark blocks those sorts of things. I was expecting him to do something like that, which is why I rushed. But yeah, the Hydra, it just seems like it'd be much better at poking him, especially in the air, but it doesn't really work out because obviously the Parabola is really good at knocking down light arms, but the Slamamander was surprisingly still much more of a nuisance. Like, honestly, I'd say you use curving arms against heavy arms, but you don't really want to use them against light arms because light arms are faster, they'll beat you to the punch and you will have a hard time knocking them down. But again, I've got a pretty good health lead, so I don't want to lose it. Unfortunately, the rush is unable to connect, which basically resets the neutral because he's got more rush charge than I do, but by the time he gets rushed, I'll have mine charged possibly enough to make a comeback. I noticed that he's on Magic Pixel, so I go ahead and block because I figured he'd rush, and luckily for me, he does. And yeah, I tried going for a grab, but Bark blocks it, and the round ends in a draw. So I switch back to double nades for round 3. I go for a little tricky, sneaky little trick there, but I mistimed the rush because I was thinking like, I'll miss a grab and then get rush while missing the grab, and then I'll rush him unexpectedly when he tries to punish. but either he saw it coming and intentionally delayed the punish, or he just got kind of lucky because I messed it up. But I do not even know what happened there. But either way, I messed up the timing for that. I think that's the third time I've blown him up out of the rush. I figure I could try going for it again, but since he already saw me do it once, he probably would be a bit more aware of it. Plus, I might mess it up again, so I didn't really want to risk it. But, yeah. Now he's got the health lead by a pretty good amount. I middle a super armor through a normal Salamander hit. Bark blows my armor from my face. And now that I've got Rush, he doesn't. I just decide to go for it. Like, I've got nothing to lose, really. And take the game. So, good games watch 3. Now let's finally move on to Jeeves. I've been running into this player a lot, which is interesting, especially since they actually left a comment on one of my videos. So, if you're watching Jeeves, hello and good games. But Ramen Bowl, I don't think I've fought him on this stage yet. He got pretty close to taking me out this time, especially like in the third round. I'm trying at first to try a bit more like defensive playstyle, thinking like definitely got to not get too aggressive against this because the Siki is really good for punishing. It's kind of hard to miss with it if your opponent doesn't dodge because it literally is a homing missile. But, and then the clapback I don't want to get too close to because even though nades aren't like that big of a deal, and it just barely gets me, that's pretty good. For me to deal with, it would still be an annoyance to have nades coming back in my face. But I'm realizing, like, they've got 3 times as much health as I do, so I better get my acts together. And I decided to play a bit more on the offensive to maybe, the sudden shift might throw them off, but also, if playing, like, overly defensive isn't going to work, then maybe going to the other end of the spectrum might work. Although I wouldn't say like I went completely aggro on him, like no scars held. And luckily, although unluckily because he took the round, he used his rush to take the round, which means that I get to pretty much start out with rush. I didn't quite have it, but now I do. The grab misses. I miss a lot of grabs like that. And guess I'm gonna get 40 damage, and then the nade's not gonna connect. I don't think it was lag. Sometimes the rushes are so weird. Like, especially the Salamander, the rushes just don't like to behave sometimes. But the clapback is really doing a good job shutting down the nade, and then she's just like, bye-bye Salamander, I'm gonna not be bothered by you. Ignore it, pretty much. Or even sometimes it cancels out with another arm. I would have gone double Salamander, but it really doesn't... I don't really like going double Salamander because that option seems to really be a very exclusive one. Like, I would reserve that for very special circumstances. For example, Gabby Catch. Nothing else really seems to work against her besides double Salamander, at least coming from me. But yeah, I think Jeeves might have started going a bit more on the aggressive too, since they're not really waiting for me at all. So I'm gonna get another 20 damage. That clapback is doing a good job blocking the rushes, although, I mean, not the best job, but, well, no, really good job. I mean, only 20 damage. I think they're just messing around. It's pretty funny. I figured, like, well, a grab, maybe even 2 grabs wouldn't be enough to get me down to your health level, so I'm just gonna block. If you grab me, whatever. If you rush me, then you're an idiot. So, good for them, they didn't rush, so they're not an idiot. But yeah. This time I'm able to slip out of their rush. Clapback rushes, I used to say like they're really hard to avoid, but I don't know, maybe I just haven't figured out the timing of them. I go for the rush to try and punish the dash, and I actually land one, so that's nice. And it gets the full damage too. So yeah. Because I've noticed that Jeeves is going a bit more on offensive, I'm trying to play not like so much more defensively, but more just like a cautious aggressive instead of a normal aggressive. I don't know. Unfortunately, I'm not able to block in time despite the additional lag from the explosion. And Jeeves is like 440 damage, that's quite a bit, and then gets this grab on me, so now one hit will do it for either of us. So I go ahead and rush. I figure like this time I don't even need the full damage, I just need a good finisher like that. And because your clapback is still out, you've got no defense against a slightly delayed rush. So that's what happened. So good games, Jeeves, Watch 3, and Twin 5-0. And thank you for watching. Bye.